Like any therapist's office, there's the iconic couch. But these days, Kim Christing does a lot of his work from his laptop. The only difference is his client is on the screen, sharing his problems via broadband from the comfort of his own home. This is e-therapy, the new frontier of healing.
Well, face-to-face is kind of like a Cadillac for some, and it's not like the Cadillac for others. And so when we think of face-to-face counseling, we're really thinking about the connection we feel between people, and that is really a very powerful and positive attachment or connection that we all want to feel with our therapist.
And for those who can't drive a Cadillac or may not even want to, online counseling is a viable alternative. It's a service Bayridge Family Center has been test driving for 2 years now.
The internet allows for availability, 24/7 accessibility right in your own living room or during your lunch hour that you don't have to drive anywhere. And it's now brought far more for far less costs.
Talking about counseling in terms of dollars and cents may seem a bit calculating, but cost can be one of the prohibitive factors in seeking professional help.
Uncomfortable at first.
Christing says cost isn't the only advantage online counseling affords.
E-counseling, when we type a message to a counselor, there is this reflection phase that happens between the interchanges that is not available in face-to-face counseling. And so in that time, there's a lot of processing. You're thinking about what the counselor said before you respond. And so actually, it's more pointed and directed and goes to the root causes much faster than some of the distractions that take place in an office and face-to-face.
Now, if the idea of going online to share your problems and pain with a counselor seems off-putting or maybe even impersonal, just think about how much of our lives take place online. And it's no surprise it's a growing trend.
Facebook just proved how much emotional bonding is taking place and how meaningful it is to so many people. We actually can do more, connect with more, and that's why the church, as we know it, in my opinion, the one service or two services is not even, can't compete with 24/7.
Though technology has changed the way we communicate and even express ourselves, there are still some constraints of not being face-to-face.
There's an awful lot of communication that's taking place through the body and through the facial expressions. And so while there's some obstacles, there is some more skill development.
So Christing and his team of therapists have learned how to type with purpose and precision.
We learn to type very accurately and specific and learn to type our feelings, our responses, or inquire more that we would not have done because we're seeing it face to face and we're saying, oh, Denise is smiling right now. Oh, she must like that question or whatever. But now we learn to do it in other ways.
Emoticons?
Emoticons, or just typing out the actual words and saying, wow, I'm sensing that you're feeling this, is that right? And then you would dig deeper.
Critics of online counseling say it can be too hard to monitor, leaving room for unethical and unprofessional behavior. In his practice, Christing says the benefits far outweigh the constraints. But even with the convenience of going online, the therapists at Bayridge are still human at the end of the day and can't keep up the demands 24/7. And that's why they've created The Village, a virtual counseling center and online supportive community. Jamie Lidstrom is its mayor and first point of contact for everyone who visits.
Okay, so what does it take to be a mayor here?
The mayor of the Bayridge Village?
Yes.
Well, it takes being very passionate about making sure all of the members of the village are happy, that they are content with all of the services, they feel informed, they feel connected.
Her job is to figure out what services fit each villager. Some are looking for one-on-one. Others are looking for community and group support. There's a place to access teachings, articles, and even ask one of their team of specialists specific questions. The site covers a variety of topics, everything from mood disorders to parenting dilemmas and abuse recovery. Like a village, it's small enough to foster a community feel. But unlike a village, it never closes down.
You know, if it's 2, 3 in the morning and you're struggling with something, you can log on to the Bayridge Village and speak your mind, and it's a really exciting thing because you can see other people responding, and again, just the ability to build fellowship.
Fellowship that some may not be finding elsewhere, according to marketing director Mandy Nixon. Whether it's the stigma attached to certain issues or lack of resources, churches are not always able to meet the need for counseling. And that's why Bayridge Village has opened its doors to congregations across the country.
So we act as a shadow staff, and it basically takes the pressure off their pastoral staff when it comes to counseling needs. As well, there are a lot of people within a church that will never approach their pastoral staff for their issues, so it also enables people who belong to a church to get help.
Since most churches don't have a budget for a full-time counselor, Nixon says hiring a service like the Village is a cost-effective and safe alternative. It also allows remote communities to access professional Christian counseling.
Our packages include counseling as well as the Bayridge Village. We also do seminars/workshops within the church as well too, based upon various different issues. So it would depend upon what the church was looking for.
Though he's been in the business for 30 years, Chris Dink was once a pastor and knows the challenges they face.
Working with a congregation in North Bay and working with one in the north who, especially within this economic times. One pastor yesterday told me, he says, Kim, he says, a lot of our congregation are out of work, and I have more depression, I have more counseling than I can handle, and the resources aren't there in our town.
My past week has been terrible.
And though online counseling may be quick and convenient, the biggest question remains, does it work? Chris Dink says there's growing evidence it does.
It has been a very fast-growing phenomena, and since then there's been enough research to show that online counseling, e-counseling, phone counseling really has the same outcome as face-to-face counseling.
With so much of our lives lived through the click of a mouse, it may not be unthinkable that healing can happen there too. That's what makes the Village Mayor's Jamie Lidstrom's job so unusual and rewarding.
To have access to professional Christian counselors, hours upon hours each week is just, it's so accessible and affordable that although it may be unfamiliar to some people, I think it definitely is the way that counseling and support is definitely shifting.
Right, so it's going online.
Absolutely.
For more information on how you can get connected, visit our website. In Burlington, Denise Lottie, 100 Huntley Street.